May I help?
Seen anything unusual?
Many have died from poisonings, tongues blackened. I fear it's more than gang warfare.
We'll all die.
Geralt, we need to talk.
What is it?
Some people died at the hospital. Were you involved? Explain yourself.
I wanted to question a prisoner, one of your patients, but thugs interrupted us. It was their bodies the guard discovered later.
I'll tell you what I overheard. The prisoner will be transported to a safe location.
Thanks, Shani, for understanding.
Just watching out for you.
I need you to help me with an autopsy.
What? That's illegal.
It's necessary.
Visit me at night. We'll talk.
Where are you staying?
I have a room in the northeastern end of Vizima.
Easy to find?
Opposite the house, there's a small square with a sculpture of a snake. Quickly, I need to get back to work.
See ya. I have questions.
Ask.
If Foltest put a reward on the professor's head, he must detest Salamandra.
It's not royal gold. Privately funded.
Interesting.
There's also payments for Salamandra badges taken from dead bandits.
Who is this philanthropist?
I can't tell you, but the sponsor's representative spends his evenings at the tavern.
I'll check it out.
Welcome, traveler.
I hear you buy jewelry.
What if I do?
100 orens. Tell me who's paying for Salamander badges.
Shove off.
Drink with me?
Sure. I've had enough.
I'm looking for work. Know who could help?
I work for Luvarden, a wealthy merchant. He has many jobs.
Thanks, that's a big help.
Always help my friends.
Welcome, dear. Do have a cup and keep an old woman company.
I need to go.
Get out! Stomping into my home like that?
But...
Welcome! Make yourself at home.
Finally, you found me.
Looks like it.
How'd you get past the old hag?
That nice lady downstairs?
She's made my life hell.
Old hag. Should have died years ago.
It's not her fault how she was raised.
But...
You should have respect for tradition.
Shani,
I don't want to talk about it.
Old people are like that.
At least my rent is low. Doctors earn little in Temeria. Many leave.
You stayed.
Someone had to.
Anyway.
Yes?
Shani.
I wanted to talk.
What is it?
Sometimes I dream about the Battle of Brenna. The massacre.
I'm sorry.
But that's it. I'm not sorry. I wake up refreshed and it's like I'm used to suffering. Does that make sense?
It does.
Thanks. Sometimes it's good to share.
Don't mention it.
Yes?
Shani, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you saw Cohen shortly before he died.
That's right. How did you know?
I found his sword.
He died during the battle at Brenna, on my operating table.
You were a medic at Brenna?
I worked alongside a surgeon named Rusty. Best doctor I ever knew.
Knew?
He died when the Catriona plague erupted, in Maribor. Though a halfling, he could operate like no one else. He made everything seem simple. Stitch red to red, yellow to yellow, white to white, and everything will be all right. You wouldn't understand.
Sorry, Shani, I didn't know him. Do you know anything about this sword?
No, but you should ask the dwarf, Sultan Chive. His knowledge of weapons is unmatched.
I need your help with an autopsy.
An autopsy? Since when do you deal with stuff like that?
Since I started investigating Salamandra.
Okay, though, I'm no coroner. You'll have to interpret our findings. We'll meet in the evening. Until then, gather as many clues as possible.
I'll sniff around.
Get the body from the gravedigger. We'll meet at the hospital in the evening.
How do I find information to help the autopsy?
Ask Vincent Mice, but also look for books on anatomy and pathology.
Farewell.
You dare challenge the Salamandra!
What is it, Witcher?
You ever do autopsies?
What for? Punctured stomachs mean gang warfare. Torn off heads mean beasts. And black tongues mean poison. The first case, we pressure ram's meat. The second, we pass on to the Order or a Witcher. The third, we go to the victim's wife. The culprit 90% of the time. Autopsies are a waste of time.
Yes?
What do you know about my silver sword?
What, me? A simple dwarf?
Shani insisted your knowledge of weapons is unequaled.
All right. Silver-plated blade. A steel core. Suited to a two-handed grip. Decent workmanship, not perfect. I don't know runes for shit.
Thanks.
No problem.
Eternal fire, fill my heart.
What do you need?
You seem to know a lot about the deaths in the city. Ever help with investigations?
Sometimes I inform Raymond about the more interesting dead men.
Maybe you can tell me too.
No, I promise to keep quiet.
I see.
What do you need?
A prisoner died recently. Is he in the cemetery already?
Don't know. You can have another body. They all reek the same.
I'm after a specific corpse.
Particular. Come back when you know what you want. Examining remains is an art. Always worthwhile to look deeper. But who does that concern?
Could you hand over the prisoner's body for an autopsy?
For a bottle of dwarven liquor.
I'll think about it.
Geralt, I was wondering if you'd care to join the Order.
Well...
Before you say no, let me give you some details.
All right.
Allow me to draw your attention to a few important matters. Primo, the Order was created to serve humble folk. Secundo, anyone can join, peasant, nobleman or witcher. Tertio, Knights of the Order enjoy many privileges.
I've heard enough.
Quarto, Knights of the Order pursue monsters. What do you think?
No thanks.
What do you need? Nothing like a good drink.
About the prisoner.
Where you want the body dumped?
At the hospital.
It'll be there by evening.
Farewell.
Yes?
I think you're paying for salamander pins. I'm just not sure why you would do that.
You're mistaken.
Why so defensive? I'm also after Salamandra and can prove it.
If so, bring me 3 pins. Then we'll talk.
I have 3 salamander pins. Will you tell me about your secret society now?
Excellent. I normally pay 20 apiece, but I'll make an exception. I'll give you 10 times that.
Great, but I still want to know why you're paying bounty hunters to track down bandits.
They're not good for business.
Your business?
All businesses. Listen, there are forces beyond your imagination at work here. Be thankful you don't know the world for what it is.
Luvarden, I've heard so many high and mighty speeches that yours doesn't impress me. I don't give a shit about these forces. My only concern is reaching the Salamandra leaders and killing Azar Javed.
That I'd like to see. Should you succeed, find me, and I'll reward you handsomely. And if you destroy Salamandra as a whole, I will repay you for your efforts.
That won't be easy. I may come see you again, and I'll be counting on your assistance.
I'll help if I can.
See you later.
Who's this?
I've despised those bastards since my daughter...
madness!
Ready for the autopsy?
Let's get started.
Race, human. Gender, male. Wounds, extensive.
Shani, this isn't a lecture hall.
Whatever you say. He died yesterday, torn to pieces.
A werewolf?
The moon's shining. Wouldn't he turn into a lycanthrope?
I guess.
Geralt, no need to test me. I'm a professional.
Could a human have inflicted these wounds?
Only with a 2-foot jaw.
The bone marrow has been sucked out. Must be scavengers.
Very likely. Plenty around the cemetery.
So, he was torn to pieces after he died. I'm interested in the cause of death.
I also see some stab wounds. A blade 2 fingers wide.
External signs aren't everything. His neck muscles and palms look tense. How do you know when he died?
Normally I base it on muscle stiffness and dehydration, but rigor mortis is persisting for too long.
They say successful autopsies are based on curiosity. Should we look?
Let's check his internal organs. The symptoms are peculiar, and the cause of death, too.
Those wounds are too obvious. I suspect something more. Poison?
If so, a rare sort. Perhaps an alchemist's brew.
Kalkstein?
Ah! Liver's completely cirrhotic. It was obviously a potent poison. This stinks of alchemy.
Any way to confirm that?
Yes, alchemist's poisons usually cause certain characteristic changes.
Then let's check for those.
Look, the tongue was crudely extracted, but not all the blackened tissue was removed.
Blackened?
Yes, the poison caused necrosis of the tongue, so the murderer removed it.
So we're certain a gifted alchemist is the murderer.
A gifted alchemist who's a crappy surgeon.
This is too easy.
Life can be simple sometimes.
Are you certain poison is the only explanation for the unusual rigor mortis?
The most likely cause.
I have a sinking feeling there's more to this.
We can try the coroner's last resort, opening the skull. Opening the skull, always a pleasure. See that in the brain?
Larva of the Zeracanian tsetse fly.
But how did they get in his brain?
It's part of their development cycle. If we were in Zeracania, I'd say a fly crawled up his nose and laid its eggs.
We're in Temeria.
Our climate is too cold and dry for the tsetse fly. Even if someone brought eggs, how would they get up his nose?
What do these eggs look like?
Tiny, white, like flour.
Or Fistek? Geralt, I gave him Fistek before he died. He was suffering terribly, and we had no other anesthetics. I thought it was safe.
Where did you get it?
From your friend, the detective. He told me it was from special stock.
Raymond.
Then we have a problem.
He added eggs to the Fistek, then came here at night to fake the other evidence.
That doesn't sound like Raymond at all.
My medallion vibrates whenever I see him lately. And Zeracania? That's where Azar Javad is from. The real Raymond may no longer be with us.
But I saw him just yesterday.
Azar's using an illusion, trying to manipulate me. Thanks, Shani. I couldn't have figured it out without you.
What will you do now?
I'll talk to Kalkstein first. He should help me prepare.